All right, it's game 2 of the opening round playoff series between the Celtics and the Bucks. This is the Celtics pregame report for CLNS Media. I'm your host, Josue Pavone, alongside Jared Weiss of The Athletic, who's here to preview this matchup where the Celtics have a chance to grab a commanding 2-0 lead in their best-of-7 series against the Milwaukee Bucks. Jared, Sunday's game was easily the most entertaining game of the weekend. I mean, I love me some playoff basketball, but aside from the Pelicans and Trailblazers game, I mean, there's a lot of lopsided games throughout the Eastern and Western Conference.
I mean, this game was insane. It went to overtime on a contested 35-footer. What more could you want out of a game? So this year, I think both of us thought the series was going to go to distance, if I'm not mistaken. So this is definitely looking like it's going to be a long and intense series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Celtics' defense played a big part in the win, of course. I mean, 20 forced turnovers, which, definitely pushed Celtics out in front in the opening frame, back and forth in the first half. We talked about it on the Garden Report shortly after the game. 5 players scored in double figures for the Celtics: Horford, Rozier, Tatum, Brown, and, of course, Morris. What do you think the Bucks have to do to slow these guys down in Game 2? And do you expect to see more offensive production from guys not named Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton?
Yeah, I mean, we're not surprised to see them relying on those guys. Eric Bledsoe had a pretty terrible game all around. I mean, he fouled out, had a game-high 5 turnovers, only had 9 points. So they're really counting on him to be a really effective triple penetrator, which is certainly easier said than done against the Celtics team, obviously. And then Jabari Parker was pretty much not happening in that game.
Yeah, did he play?
First half, he played 15 minutes. He was barely noticeable while he was out there. They basically stopped playing him in the second half. The funny thing is they were trying between him and Tony Snell, figuring out who would be that extra wing out there with Giannis and Chris. And Parker was a minus 14 in 14 and a half minutes, and Snell was a minus 17 in 33 minutes. So that's their weak link. That is the thing that coming into the series I expected the Celtics to try to really exploit, and that seemed to work pretty well. I think the biggest question is that the Bucks are not good when they go big. When they have a center out there with Giannis, it takes away the spacing that Giannis needs because Giannis isn't much of a threat beyond 18 feet. And Giannis destroys the Celtics in isolation and transition when there's no other bigs out there on the floor or when there's just nobody in the paint. But that doesn't happen a ton during the game, so they need to figure out how they want to balance that. And that's something that I asked Joe Prunty about, and he kind of hinted was going to be a major consideration for them in Game 2.
And what do you think that exactly means? You think we're going to see, is he going to go really deep into his bench? How is that going to work out for him?
I mean, their problem is that they really need they're awesome in theory with Jabari Parker out there, and they weren't able to play him enough. So I don't know what they're going to do. I think they need to give Parker more minutes and give Henson. John Henson shouldn't be playing 37 minutes in this matchup. And he had 6 blocks, and he provided some value. There's no question about it. It's just that it allows Boston to go big when they want to, which means that they get to trap Giannis when he's driving the lane, and that makes things a lot more difficult for Giannis. And I kind of broke down all the consequences of that in my article on The Athletic yesterday, and I won't go into crazy detail about that now, but the main concern is that Milwaukee right now doesn't have a small lineup that they're super comfortable with, I think, for the entirety of the game, because it requires either putting Snell out there, who's been really struggling, or Parker out there, who just doesn't seem to be, he kind of seems like a shell of himself right now. And then, of course, Jason Terry, who is 40 and somehow still in the league, even though we thought his career was pretty much over when he came to Boston about 5 or 6 years ago. So kudos to him for keeping that going. But they don't seem to have a clean solution, while Boston seems to be playing pretty well with Baines on the floor, and they played very well with Morris on the floor instead. Horford was great in Game 1, worked in pretty much every lineup, did a good job, a strong word, when Giannis had 35 and 13 and 7. But, I mean, they did a pretty solid job on Giannis, all things considered, I would say. I mean, Giannis put up big numbers, but I think that they were able to neutralize him in ways that they can control. I think him attacking one-on-one situations with an extra step because he's in transition, you pretty much know you're not going to win that battle, because that's why he's one of probably the 5 best players in the NBA. But they were able to, I think, limit the amount of alternative ways that he could beat them and put some of that pressure on Middleton and Bledsoe. Middleton really came through. Bledsoe didn't really come through.
This edition of the Celtics pregame report is brought to you by SeatGeek. Download the SeatGeek app where you can save $20 off of your first purchase when you enter the promo code Garden Report. The NBA playoffs is here, and SeatGeek is your place to go for the best deals around. Download the SeatGeek app, enter the promo code Garden Report, and save $20 for listening to the Celtics pregame report. That's promo code Garden Report. Download the SeatGeek app where you can save $20. Jared, what's it going to take for the Celtics to grab a 2-0 lead before heading to Milwaukee?
I would say they probably have to save $20 on their tickets if they want to pull that off.
That would help. Yes,
option,
absolutely.
The other option would be probably to double down on what they were doing with their matchup with Horford on Giannis. They gotta, they were able to somehow manage putting Horford on Giannis for a huge portion of the game while still him being effective later in the game offensively. So they have to really double down on that. But I think they're going to get a little more creative, Milwaukee is, with the way that they utilize Giannis. I think they're going to use him as a big more and more. They only use him as a big really for like the last 5 minutes of regulation and overtime. I think they're going to do that more, and they're going to start alternating. I mean, they're going to have plays where he runs point guard on one play and then he is the center setting screens the next one. And it's going to require a lot more switching, and it's going to require a lot of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Morris to really step up and take on Giannis in transition and even in the half court. So it's just going to require an even more concerted effort from all of them to be alert defensively. And then offensively, this is the story I'm working on right now. They won the turnover battle in this game, but I think I'm actually going to try to look it up right now. As far as deflections are concerned, it certainly seemed like that Milwaukee was probably beating them there. Milwaukee had 28 deflections. Wow, it's even worse than I realized. Wow. Milwaukee had 28 deflections. Boston had 12. So Boston recovered 5 more loose balls than they did. And I think that is the big difference here, is that Milwaukee's length is, they're really notorious for having great perimeter length, which is something that Boston is also renowned for. But Milwaukee's is pretty severe, and the numbers really epitomize that. So I'm going to be really interested to see if they can figure out ways to get around that. Both teams are kind of talking about that as being an issue, so we'll see what happens there. I think that's kind of the focal point for this game too, though.
All right, Jared, prediction time. Who do you think wins?
I think they're going. I think this series is going to be pretty much one of those home team wins every single game series, and it'll go down to the wire. But I think Celtics will take it back 2-0. Everybody's going to say, "Oh, the Celtics are so much better than we thought. Milwaukee sucks," and then they come back 2-2, and then it's, "Oh, you know what? Actually, Milwaukee's not terrible after all."
Yeah, we've seen it before. We saw it last year, especially against the Wizards. The Wizards series, it's exactly what happened. The home team won every single game.
The irony of that is that Boston, under Stevens, I think has been better on the road with their record than they have been at home. So, but the playoffs are the playoffs. That's what happened.
All right. Well, he is Jared Weiss. You can find him on Twitter at Jared Weiss NBA, and you can tell. I'll let Jared explain how people can sign up for The Athletic and what's the special deal that's going on, Jared.
Sure. If you go to theathletic.com/Boston launch, we have a great deal. It's only $3.49 a month, where you get not just being able to read me and Jay King and Cletus Murray covering the Celtics for The Athletic Boston, but you can read literally every single thing that is produced by The Athletic, which is, it covers almost every major city in North America at this point. I mean, it's incredible how much coverage they have. I've been subscribed to The Athletic for a couple of years now, I think, and then they offered me a job, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll take that. So you definitely want to sign up for it. You get a really nice T-shirt as well, which I am excited to get mine in the mail. So it's kind of a no-brainer to sign up for it. It's, if I do say so myself, it was already one of the best news outlets or sports outlets in the country before I signed up. Now that I signed up, it's definitely one of the best in the country, so it's worth the subscription.
Absolutely. If you haven't already, make sure you sign up. I mean, that's one heck of a deal in itself. I mean, how do you not turn that down when you think about all sports and what kind of coverage you'll get when you sign up for The Athletic? So make sure you subscribe. Jared, I will see you Tuesday, and you have a good time, and thanks for stopping by.
Awesome, man. I'll see you then.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Celtics pregame report. Make sure you check out the Garden Report after the game on the CLNS Media YouTube channel. You can check out all the raw and uncut videos from the podium and from the locker room. And, of course, you can check us out on the parquet as we break down Game 2 of this best-of-7 series between the Celtics and the Bucks. Weekday shows air on the Celtics Newsfeed channel, on iTunes, Stitcher, and the CLNS Media mobile app. For today's Boston Celtics pregame report with Josue Pavone, this is Josue Pavone signing off.